Day or night, it's Hessenite. Welcome back to me talking about how I would do sequels to Gravity Falls. I have way too many ideas, and all of them can play out a bit differently. So I'm going to go over the basic plot structure and what I would do with it. Okay, if you want more context, check out my Return to Gravity Falls video. That's it. I didn't plan on making this much more of a series when I wrote these scripts. Today we're going to talk about letters to Gravity Falls. Every episode would start with Mabel or Dipper writing a letter titled Dear Gravity Falls, or Dear, and it would be addressed to somebody directly in Gravity Falls like Wendy or Seuss, or it would be addressed to one of the older Pines twins, so like Dear Grunkle Stan. And every episode would end with either the twins sealing the letter or mailing it off, with occasionally us seeing the person reading the letter. The first episode would explore how Dipper and Mabel are adjusting back to normal life in Piedmont? I'm gonna say Piedmont for the duration of this video. I'm sure they mentioned it in series. It's been a few months since I've watched it again when I wrote the script. After a summer of sharing a room and all the trauma, they probably feel pretty lonely in their own rooms and a bit unsafe. So they take turns switching which room they sleep in until they get used to sleeping separate again. I mean, they still end up in each other's rooms on the weekends if one of them had a nightmare, but that's normal sibling behavior. Personally, for me, it's funnier if nothing supernatural happens in the first episode to contrast with Tourist Trap. Like, with us even seeing the twins' parents and them saying how creative Mabel's letters were, they begrudgingly accept Waddles as their pet, and they get Waddles settled into Mabel's room. The episode would end with the night before their first day of school. Dipper and Mabel have picked out outfits. They're both excited and nervous for their final year of middle school. Episode 2 would be their first day of school. Honestly, episode 1 and 2 would likely be a two-parter. We get a glimpse into what life was like for the twins before Gravity Falls. Mabel is seen as nice, well-meaning, but a weird girl. Both friends with everyone and no one at the same time. She's well-liked, but not pop. Meanwhile, Dipper is the bullied, nerdy kid who everyone but Mabel avoids. They're each other's best friends, and have always been put in the same classes, both making compromises with their elective classes to stay together, especially this year. We even get Dipper's actual name drop, Mason, when a teacher's taking roll. Some other students probably tease him by calling him like Mason Jar or something, and Dipper explains he goes by Dipper. At least one teacher asks what they did over the summer, and everyone laughs at Mabel as she honestly answers the question, but everyone assumes she's lying. Previously, Mabel would have been embarrassed, and you can hear how some of the girls mention how they're waiting for Mabel to cry or hide in her sweater, but instead, Dipper, who normally would have tried to defend Mabel but shied away, tells everybody to stop. Mabel was telling the truth. Obviously, no one believes the twins and laughs at them. This episode is where we see supernatural stuff start happening. Probably something pretty minor, given the twins have been going here for years, and Mabel just pushed it off as Dipper being paranoid. But now they're both more tuned to this stuff. I'm gonna say something like a ghost, a low-level ghost, or something that acts up when the twins are being bullied. Nothing big like throwing things across the room or toppling a bookcase, but small things like causing a sprinkler to leak just enough for a bully to slip on it, or a book to fall on a mean girl's head. This would also be to add another cast member to the roster, with everyone else being in Gravity Falls. I could easily see this ghost's story ending with moving on once the twins move into high school. Finally got to have some friends they were close to and that they could protect from bullies. The second episode would probably end with the twins befriending the ghost and promising to help them move on. In return, the ghost would help them with mysteries around town, if the ghost could leave the school. Like my last Gravity Falls video, you could probably use some of the unused episodes like the gum commercial one in this version, especially the ones that primarily involve Mabel and Dipper and don't really depend on Gravity Falls in general or the stands. Occasionally, there will be episodes titled Letters from the Grunkles or Ford's Updates that follow the format of the twins receiving a letter from the Grunkles or getting a call from the Grunkles, and we see the story from the Grunkle's point of view. In a similar vein is Letters from Gravity Falls, which are stories, sometimes one episode's just all about one character, and sometimes it's a collection of shorter stories from the people of Gravity Falls, like Seuss, Wendy, Candy, and Grenda. Maybe we even get an episode called Letters from Normal Boy, Gideon, where we get 2 letters. One from Gideon bragging about how well he's doing, countered by a letter from Wendy about what actually happened. Occasionally, there would be specials where the twins are visited by somebody from Gravity Falls, like physically. Probably starts with Pacifica, as while her family lost their mansion, they're probably still the wealthiest family in Gravity Falls. Maybe Grenda and Candy join her. Imagine she makes the excuse to visit, with sweaters being the thing in Gravity Falls, especially amongst middle schoolers and high schoolers who are trying to emulate the Pines twins since they saved the town, and her wanting a new one made by Mabel. Or maybe she still has the llama sweater, but she's been wearing it so much it's starting to wear down. She won't admit it, but she wears it often because she misses the twins, and she wants Mabel to fix it or make her a new one. This probably freaks out the popular girls at Piedmont Middle School because a well-known millionaire popped up in a limo with two weird girls and demanded the twins talk to her. Pacifica and Dipper are a bit awkward with each other since it's implied they developed crushes on each other towards the end and in the comics. Meanwhile, Mabel is more than happy to make more sweaters that Pacifica paid for at her own insistence. Now Dipper and Mabel have to deal with people who want to befriend them to get close to Pacifica, and more people end up wearing sweaters despite California being very warm. Another fun thing would be Zeus or Wendy visiting for a 3-day weekend just to hang out. Maybe they look for a local mystery for Zeus to bring back to Gravity Falls. But it's just reliving the summer in Gravity Falls with the gang, but in Piedmont before they head back. For big family holidays like Christmas, if the Pines celebrate it, and Thanksgiving, the Grunkles, plus Zeus and his grandma, fly to Piedmont and spend it with the twins. First, Stan has to explain he's not Ford, he's not dead, and he's basically adopted Zeus, and they felt bad leaving Zeus's grandma in Gravity Falls alone. Then we meet Shermie, Stan and Ford's brother, aka the twins' grandfather. If they're still alive, we see Stan and Ford's parents, and we get a feel-good moment of them where they're being so relieved and happy Stan's alive and her boy's made up. I want a picture of the older twins with the younger twins that from here on out would be in every episode. Hear me out. Gideon was on tour at one point, so he shows up in Piedmont and is a minor celebrity from his tour days. So whenever the twins and Gideon just try to hang out, the tour is swarmed by a bunch of Gideon's fans, so they just end up in the tour bus playing cards or something. I think it'd be funny. Slowly, as the school year goes on, even as the twins discover more and more about Piedmont's mysteries, it's nothing compared to Gravity Falls, and though they gain some minor popularity, Dipper and Mabel ask their parents if they can go to Gravity Falls High School the following year. I'm sure there are more ways you could do Letters to Gravity Falls, but I think this would be a good 1 to 2 seasons show before like a larger movie or special where they officially return to Gravity Falls. Alright, that's all I gotta say. Have a good day!